Is rapper Jungkook really coming in 2026? Or is this the biggest signal fans have ever missed? What if the clues were right in front of us all along? Article. Is this just a coincidence? Or the loudest warning sign yet? Why are fans suddenly whispering the same question across social media at the same time? And why does it all point toward one shocking possibility that no one dared to say out loud before? Before you read any further, pause for a moment and ask yourself this. If Jungkook was about to rewrite his identity once again, wouldn't the signs appear quietly first? If you feel your heart racing already, don't stay silent. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you feel the tension, and subscribe right now because what you're about to read may change how you see. Jungkook forever. The atmosphere surrounding Jungkook has shifted, and it didn't happen overnight. There was no official announcement, no dramatic press conference, no neatly packaged statement explaining what comes next. Instead, there were fragments, glimpses, moments that felt too intentional to ignore and too subtle to explain away. Fans noticed it before analysts did. They felt it before words existed to describe it. Something about Jungkook's recent presence, his tone, his timing, his silence began to feel different, heavier, more deliberate, as if every move carried an unspoken message. The question now burning through fan communities isn't whether Jungkook is preparing something new. The real question is far more dangerous. What if he's preparing something no one is ready for? For years, Jungkook has been known as the golden all-rounder. The vocalist with emotional depth, the performer with unmatched intensity. But those labels, once badges of honor, now feel strangely incomplete. There's an edge forming around his image, a sharpness that wasn't there before. It shows not in loud declarations, but in restraint. In the way he chooses when not to speak. In the way his artistic expressions have grown darker, more grounded, more confrontational. Some fans brushed it off at first. Growth, they said. Maturity. Natural evolution. But others felt something deeper stirring beneath the surface. Why do his recent creative choices feel less polished and more raw? Why does his energy feel less like performance and more like confession? Why does it feel like he's standing at the edge of something irreversible? And then came the moments that couldn't be ignored. A line delivered with unusual emphasis. A rhythm that lingered longer than expected. A cadence that felt closer to spoken truth than melody. None of it screamed announcement. Yet all of it whispered the same idea. Jungkook isn't just experimenting, he's aligning. Alignment is dangerous, because it means intention. Those who understand music at its core know this. Artists don't drift into new identities by accident. Especially not artists as disciplined and calculated as Jungkook. Every shift in posture, every change in vocal delivery, every stylistic deviation sends a signal. The question isn't whether the signal exists. The question is, who is brave enough to interpret it honestly? Could 2026 be the year Jungkook steps forward not as the vocalist everyone expects, but as something far more confrontational, far more exposed? The idea alone feels shocking, almost forbidden. Rapper The thought once lived on the edges of fan theories, quickly dismissed as imagination running wild. But now, that same idea is resurfacing with unsettling consistency. Not as fantasy, but as possibility. Listen closely to how his voice has changed. Not in range, but in intention. There's a weight behind certain phrases now, a controlled aggression that doesn't seek approval. It feels less like singing to be loved and more like speaking to be understood. That distinction matters more than most realize. And then there's the silence. Silence, used by someone like Jungkook, is never empty. It's strategic. The longer he stays quiet about what comes next, the louder the speculation grows. And perhaps that's the point. Perhaps the absence of confirmation is itself a confirmation waiting to happen. Fans are torn between excitement and fear. Excitement, because reinvention is thrilling. Fear, because reinvention means letting go of what once felt safe. If Jungkook truly embraces a new artistic identity, it won't be cosmetic. It will be personal. And personal art demands honesty. Even when that honesty makes people uncomfortable, that discomfort is already creeping in. Some fans feel it when they revisit his recent appearances and realize how different they feel in hindsight. Others feel it when they notice how often the conversation returns to 2026, as if the year itself has become symbolic. Why that year? Why not sooner? Why not later? What is aligning behind the scenes that requires patience? This is where the clues grow darker. Timing in the industry is never random. Artists don't choose moments. Moments choose artists who are ready. If Jungkook is waiting, it's because whatever comes next requires distance from expectations, from labels, from the version of himself the world thinks it knows. That's what makes this possibility so explosive. Rap isn't just a genre. It's a language of confrontation, identity, and truth. To step into it fully is to accept scrutiny, comparison, and vulnerability at a level few are prepared for. If Jungkook is moving in that direction, he isn't chasing trends. He's preparing to speak. And when someone like Jungkook decides to speak, the industry listens, whether it's ready or not. The most unsettling part. This wouldn't be a betrayal of who he was. It would be a revelation of who he's been becoming all along. So ask yourself again. Are these just coincidences stitched together by imagination? Or are we watching the quiet construction of something massive? Something that will only make sense once it's already too late to look away. If this article made your heart beat faster even once, don't ignore that feeling. Comment what you think is really happening. Like this, if you feel the tension growing. And subscribe now, because if rapper Jungkook truly emerges in 2026, you'll want to remember the moment you first felt it coming.